It's mini series, the series inside of a series. You all can see I have an extraordinary person here with me today. We are magnifying moments on a moment of harmony. We are a couple of episodes, very small amount of episodes until we get to our 100th episode. And we are going to have such a celebration and great surprises in store for our exchangers on our 100th episode. What we've been doing with the 10 shows leading up to the 100th episode is taking those very special, giant individuals in my life that I feel exemplify magnifying their moments. We do a lot of work here at a moment of harmony of a lot of self work, a lot of self care, a lot of growing ourselves, healing ourselves, helping ourselves.
Mhm.
And I wanted us to really be able to see people that I know personally that are doing it every day, taking the hardest times and the biggest obstacles and making themselves greater for them. So today I have an extraordinary friend, an incredible light on my path, Mr. Gregory Coleman. I'm going to welcome Mr. Coleman to my show. So I'm going to give y'all a quick brief about him before we get all into the miracle of Mr. Coleman, right? So currently, I work with the Department of Public Safety and Corrections, but last year, for a great part of the year, I worked for MTA. Mr. Coleman was a coworker, and not only was he my coworker, he was even more than a coworker. He was my boss, right? But it was so weird when I say my boss because he was such a
Mhm.
just such a friend, such a light. And one of the reasons that me and Mr. Coleman got so close, many reasons, is because I felt like Mr. Coleman matched my energy. And I don't know if many people are
Yes.
in corporate America, many of my exchanges are in corporate America. It is very difficult to maintain a bright, positive, upbeat attitude in some of those environments that are just kind of mundane and routine,
Preach.
lackluster. It can be very difficult. And it's just something that I naturally am dedicated to. Like, I am going to be a light. And I just don't always get to be around a lot of people like that. And those of us that are watching that are light people, we know how exhausting it can be to be the lightest bulb in the room. Sometimes you just want someone to motivate you. You want someone to make you inspired and tell you that
Yeah.
everything's going to be okay. So when this guy started at our job, I was just like, who is this happy go lucky, jolly, positive, brilliant, bright person? And not only was it so great because I felt like he was an energy match, it was great because he is a black man. And I love black men. You know, y'all my favorite. But here's the thing. A lot of our brothers are really bogged down by the system and the way of life and the obstacles and the things that have come deliberately to attack them, right? We're not blaming them. We're saying, we get it. But to see a black man that exhibits such joy, such light, such a great energy, no matter what, right? No matter what was going on with Mr. Coleman, he had a smile. And guys, I am not exaggerating. Like, smile, big, like you see right now, big, bright smile, always great and wonderful things to say. And my thing was like, what it does to me as a person, as an individual, and as a black woman to see joy in the black man is like, it's healing. It's healing, it's motivating, and it's always an energy of like, it's gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that just is always priceless. I keep that because it's like a unicorn. I always tell him that. I don't know when I'll see him again. Our brothers are strong, right? But they're not always joyful. They're not always
Yeah.
jovial. And it's a beautiful thing to see. It's a beautiful, rare experience to have. And on top of that, Mr. Coleman has had a number of obstacles health wise in his life.
Absolutely.
We would be at work and he would tell us about, and I'm gonna let him tell you about some of that, but he would tell us about how he got his eye when he was 12 years old, got hit in his eye with a stick and they poked his eye out. And then you
Yeah.
would just never, I mean, and the stuff he would tell us about his experiences in life, and you would be like, uh but just a big smile on his face and like, this is what I went through and this is how I got through it. And then, of course, many, many more obstacles comes his way throughout his life of battling with his health. Even when he got the job, he came on as our supervisor, and then like 3 days later, he was
Yeah.
gone. He was gone. We didn't know
Absolutely.
what happened. We was like, oh, he
Yeah.
just seen this place and ran, right? But really, really, he was sick, like
Yeah.
hospitalized, sick, and still came back and was still motivated to be like, we are going to make this the best experience we can.
Yeah.
I'm going to take everyone's words and everyone's thoughts, and we are going to just make this a great people work. He was 1000% about people work, even while sick, even while experiencing a lot of the things that he's experienced. And I just was always in awe of that. And Mr. Coleman battles with cancer. And I know that there's a lot of my viewers that are battling lupus and all types of versions of autoimmune deficiencies and issues with their body.
Yeah.
And then on top of the cancer, some of the medications that have been meant to help Mr. Coleman with one illness make him sick on another way. And I'm saying this man can go and be in the hospital for days and come right back in like, "How you doing, Miss Harmony?" Melodious. I mean, he makes up a nickname for
Maybe my little.
everyone that makes you feel special and lighthearted. And I know Mr. Coleman doesn't know this to the degree of which I'm going to share now. I was going through so many transitions working with the MTA. When I say the biggest transitions of my life, biggest decisions, loneliest period. I mean, just so I had so many changes and challenges happening at one time. And I was determined that, my circumstance wasn't going to change what was going on inside of me, that I was going to beat the battles and that I was going to become my better self. But that was a daily battle. Like when I tell you daily, like sometimes leaving my cubicle to go in the bathroom to cry daily type and come back out and smile and talk to customers and be positive and give light and when I say that hard time, it was a very, very hard. There were deaths, there were the endings of relationships, there were cycles. I mean, it was a lot. It was so much, so overwhelming for me at that time. And the creator literally placed him and many other beautiful people. I was so blessed, but placed him as a light at work. Like many of us know, we live at work. No one spends more time anywhere else unless you're an entrepreneur than you do at work. And so the whole beauty of the creator put in someone like him at work for me was like, I can breathe, I can have hope, I have a friend. And I'm trying not to get emotional because he really didn't have to be as great as he was. He could have been so grumpy, the pain. I remember sometimes we would have conversations, Mr. Coleman, and you would be on medications and you would say, I'm so loopy and
Yeah. Yeah.
it's so hard for you to, but
Absolutely.
still positive, like just bright and beautiful and full of life with all of the threats coming your way on your life, on your health, on your mobility. You just still were just like, I'm here and life is beautiful and it's wonderful. And so I want people to experience you, Mr. Coleman. I want people to experience you. I want to give you your flowers. I want to let you know how magnificent I think you are.
Oh my
I
gosh.
want people who are exchangers and viewers of a moment of harmony when they are saying, life isn't the way I want it to be, when they are saying I don't feel the way I want to feel, they getting a diagnosis, they're sitting in a hospital room because you were so candid with us about the days and days in the hospital and your brothers and your siblings and your parents. And I'm saying there are people that are watching that are trying to make the best out of their moments. And I want them to experience you. I want them to experience you. So you ready to get into
Um,
your first question, Mr. Coleman? You ready
uh,
to get into the first question?
well, I'll say this, Miss Harmony. You're such a beautiful individual.
Thank you so much.
And I would be remiss without saying it was you.
Oh,
Um,
he's gonna try to make me cry
I
again.
came there to work. Um, 2, 3 days later, I was gone.
Yeah.
So there was speculation, you know, where the hell is he? Where has he gone? But it was you who reached out to me.
I
It,
did.
it was you and another coworker about the
Hmm.
time, Donovan. Y'all reached out to me and said, "How you doing?"
Yeah, are you okay?
Yeah, but it put me in a place because I was like, man, this is beautiful and awesome because it was so much that was just going on at that time. And yeah, I'm a fighter. So
You
I
are
will tell you that. Yeah, I'm a
our fight.
fighter.
I cannot wait to get into your story so people can like, because what I know is people are looking at you right now and your smile and your gentle voice, and they're already thinking like, this guy is Gandhi. I really want people to know who you are. I want them to see your story because they're gonna be shocked. I already know people are about to be like, "What happened?" So, would you mind sharing with us, Mr. Coleman, what is your defining moment? What was your defining moment?
Okay, I'm gonna tell you this because I had a very, very strong mother,
You did.
who she cultivated very strong siblings.
That,
It's five of us, and we always got it one for all for one.
yes.
That's the way we got it. My That's another story, but my dad wasn't there. But I'm saying, despite that, we looked out for each other.
Yeah.
We motivated each other. We encouraged each other. It got
Yeah.
us through, myself school, uh, siblings businesses, them school, getting us to just a good place. But the whole thing about that was always we just always looked at things in a positive way.
Yeah.
Man, Tupac said, "Keep your head up." I'm serious. That
One of your
resonated with
fellow
me.
Geminis. You got that's your fellow Gemini.
Yeah, but
We
I'm
did
saying,
do the Aquarius Gemini thing. We definitely linked in that way.
yeah, but it resonated with me so much because I'm saying we have to.
We have to.
And with that being said, too, we have to support each other. So that's where you come in, Miss Harmony, because working with you, meeting you, I was like, oh my God. First of all, I was like, she's so awesome. She's so positive. And you're an anomaly. You're an anomaly in the work world. And I said, it shouldn't be that way. But unfortunately, it is that way.
Yes.
But you said something about the unicorn. When you find it, yeah, you hold on to it. You
Yeah.
grasp
That's,
onto it. You
that's very,
nurture it. You nurture it, and with you, I felt that way because I think I told you this. You had such an influence just from your positivity and the way you approach things with a lot of people around us, and I think I did as well based on what people tell me. But no,
you definitely
double it,
things changed
double it.
things change overnight. That's the beautiful thing about light is that you only need a little bit of light to make a dark space brighter, and it's like you bring a little bit of darkness and the light is going to be a hard to bet overcast, but no, things change. And definitely shout out to everyone there. We have beautiful people that we worked with, and great people that were a part of a whole
Yeah,
process and moving things
yeah,
along. So definitely shout out to everyone. It definitely wasn't a horrible place, but it was corporate America, and
yeah.
the changes that we were looking for, which is cohesiveness, family together, connectedness, community. And you did a wonderful job of bringing that together, from moving us from an economic place to a family space, or bridging it together. And I thought that that was really a beautiful thing. So yeah, so
I couldn't have did that though without you. Without people like you, without people like Donovan,
yes,
and actually with people like Sydney,
yes, yes,
because yeah, with people who work with us.
yes,
So they say it takes a village, but I will say this, and for anyone who's listening, keep on. Despite everything I ever went through in my life, I always looked at it from the perspective. Keep moving on. Keep moving on. Keep it moving. That's my brother's favorite saying to me. But despite what things are. It's so very easy in this day and age to feel sorry for yourself, to feel disgruntled, about things that are happening in your life. But
And
I always try to keep into perspective things that are happening worse for other people.
yeah,
And, so in a way
and
that kind of,
you're thinking that from a hospital bed sometimes, and you're still thinking things are worse for us.
absolutely, because, well, I'm going to tell you, it's a struggle with that too, because I'm sitting there and I was like, oh my God, I'm going through some stuff. How do I get through this?
Yeah,
But I said the only way I can get through this is to keep thinking forward. So for anybody who's listening, I know it's hard and difficult for people because everybody does not. We all have our own struggles. We have our own way and we deal with things, and I'm very respectful of that. But I'm saying keep going,
keep
keep
going.
going, keep going the
Yeah,
best you can. Keep going. I know Martin Luther King has said, you know, um, it was a whole statement about, crawling, walking, running,
yeah,
and I'm telling anybody that that's all you can do. Stay positive. We want this life. And it's exactly what we say it is. It's a blessing. It's
it is.
our present, and that's what we shoot for. And I say it's so beautiful because the people around you make you're
Yeah.
moving in the right direction, to be honest,
And
because
you have to be cognizant of the people around you because a lot of us life can be very distracting. It can be very loud. And I see even when your beautiful girlfriend, shout out to her. I remember
like
when she had a transition in her family. I think it was her father. I know was very close to her.
yes.
I could see how emotional you were getting. I'm telling your business a little bit at
No,
work
it's okay.
about what she was feeling. It's gonna make I when I tell you that an empath, right? How we feel each other's lives is how we heal each other's lives. And a lot
Wow,
of people don't
that is phenomenal. That
feel
is,
thank you.
yeah,
A
yeah.
lot of people aren't feeling. We're seeing, we're hearing,
Mm,
we're around, but we aren't feeling what's happening. And there's so many numbing factors. There's trauma and tragedy. There's so many things, narcissism, ego, arrogance. There's so many things that can just cut off your ability to connect genuinely with others. But that was one of the things I saw was just like you were so emotional. Like, how am I going to be there for her? What am I going to do for? And I just can remember thinking, like, he is really. You would think this is his dad, and I get it. Like when we know people and they're transitioning, it affects us, but
yeah,
it's the ability to feel one another that not only, like I said, heals them, but it heals you. And I think for
yes,
the love that you have inside your heart is huge. And I think that's what has gotten you through procedure after procedure and being in remission, coming out of remission, I mean, just bad news, good news, evaluation is just staying so steadfast. And I'm just thinking, like, no wonder this guy survives because he has a fountain of love inside him. He'll never run dry. He'll never run dry on life and vibrancy. And it is so blatant. I mean, you can walk in the room and it's just brighter. And that I think that's the whole point of everything. I think it's the whole point of everything. So, Mr. Coleman, share with us your defining moment. What is the moment that made you
wow. The defining moment, I have to honestly say there were several,
okay?
because I think with everybody, you have to reevaluate
Yeah.
life and where
Hmm.
you're at.
Hmm.
I'm gonna tell you one of the defining moments, and I know I told you about this when I was 10, 12. I lost my eye.
Yeah.
And even at that young age, yeah, as a child, I was feeling bad for myself,
Yeah.
you know. So, grandmothers were hardcore. I'm sorry, at that time. And she was like, be thankful. You're alive. Get
Wow.
over
Get over it.
it. Get over it.
And you had to like learn how, I don't want to mess up your story, but I believe you had to learn how to walk again, or you had to like get your equilibrium
I had to
back
learn.
yeah.
No, you're absolutely right
Mm-hmm.
because I had to learn how to walk again with my equilibrium, and it was these things they had me doing with juggling, and I lost my depth perception, and it was a lot of things I had to learn. But
And how
um,
scary is that at 10 or 12 years old and you're already established in life, like you've got everything figured out,
wow,
then you lose something as important as part of your sight. And then you like, the fear and also how
mm.
afraid we get of going to school and being teased and you still having to like I just think that that's so amazing.
I think about it now, and I'm like, oh my goodness. I thank God I got through it, but I was saying it was hard because children are children. It's not a bad thing because they're trying to understand the world too. But
Y-
children can be cruel,
Yes, they
and but that instilled something very strong in me when she had
mm,
said that, and it's something that I always held all of my
yeah,
life. So I held that through every trial, tribulation I went through. First of all, I never felt sorry for myself, because, yeah, I'm going through some stuff. Everybody in this world is going through some
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
So it never put me in a place, I'm the only one in the world going through this. So I need to lash out at you because
yeah,
woe be me. And it's getting through
yeah.
this, and it's trying to stay positive in the most positive sense. I'm four-time cancer survivor.
And look at how life works. You as a child having something as huge as losing a whole eye, like losing an eye,
Yeah.
which would be devastating. I'm 37 to even think about something like that, even as we're adults. But a child who's still learning
Hmm.
the world and all of these things, losing something that's very vital. And your grandmother tells you, like, you're still here. She pretty much just says gratitude. Gratitude
Yeah.
is through this. And your grandmother couldn't foresee battle after battle after battle with cancer.
Yeah.
But literally, she planted a seed that no matter how dark it gets,
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
I'm talking literally and figuratively, no matter how dark it gets, because if you
Hmm.
have part of your sight, you're talking about not being able to see, not being able
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
have,
Yeah.
not being able to know. And she
Yeah.
said, no matter what's missing,
Yeah.
life isn't. Your joy shouldn't be. So like and you use that. I think that's phenomenal. I think that's so phenomenal.
You know what? And a lot of it too, Harmony, is I joke a lot because that's what life is too. A lot of things that you go through in life, you have to joke about because I joke about this with my family and friends who know me. As you know, I'm a musician as well.
You are a musician, a
Okay.
scuba diver. That's why I was like, let me get this guy out here. He was swimming up with the sharks. I'm saying like I mean from the hospital bed to the ocean to the to your you do the saxophone or the tuba. I don't mess it up.
I do all of
Many.
that trumpet, piano. Yeah, I'm
And
out
makes
there.
music.
People
Yes.
know
Like,
me.
oh my God. I was like, and doing shows and leaving treatments and making a show. It's just
Yeah,
phenomenal. It's
yeah.
phenomenal.
But
Yeah.
that's part of living life because you can get caught in stuff and you have to, and I know it's difficult, but you have to get out of your own circumstance sometimes.
Hmm.
We're still here. And so, and I'm going to say this is real honest. And I always say you either give up at that point or I'm going to fight through this.
That's it. It
Plain and
really,
simple. I'm either giving up. If you're giving up, fine. For anyone that do that, I'm not saying you're weak. You got your circumstances. The whole point is we don't want you to give up.
we don't want to give up.
Because life is beautiful. You're going to get past this. Whatever you're going through that's dark, whatever you're going through that's difficult, hard, you're going to get
Yeah.
through it. Brighter days are ahead.
Yeah.
Better days are ahead. So that's what we want you to fight through. But the whole thing, I always told you just have to tie that knot a little tighter and
Yeah.
hold on. Hold
Oh,
on. Hold
I
on. It's going
that
to happen.
tie the knot a little tighter.
Tie it a little tighter. Tie it
Listen,
a little
that is a
tighter.
Gregory Coleman original. So look, I know Mr. Coleman, you're not on Facebook a lot, but I always put my quotes up there and I always call it a Harmony original. So whenever I get a guest that drops a gem, I'm like, Gregory Coleman original. Mr. Coleman, we have many moments in our lives that are mountain moments where, I mean, we're at our heights and we just are enjoying life and proud of ourselves.
Yes.
We're arriving. And we also have valleys where we may have overcome some obstacles, thought we were on a good little path, and then we're faced with uncertainty. We're faced with doubt. Would you be able to share one of those valley moments with us?
Wow. It's been a lot of those.
I'm sure.
And you've been through those too, because we've had conversations about
Hmm.
that. But oh my gosh, that's just going through life in general. To be
Hmm.
honest,
Hmm.
um, I was in the hospital sick, and it was a lot of those moments I had. Oh, how am I going to get through this? Going through this, I don't know how to feel.
Hmm.
It's everything. You feel defeated. You
And
feel
fear
defeated.
of the fear of I recently went to the hospital. Maybe
Fear.
my
Wow.
son was going through some things and it really had a physical effect on me. It ended up being stress, but I didn't know what it was. My body was shutting down. I didn't know that stress. I didn't. Stress can be very powerful, but they took me through many tests, so
Miss
many.
Harmony, that's so humanistic, though. That's
It
a
was
humanistic response,
I
because I don't know what we think
shocked.
of each other sometimes.
It's human.
Yeah.
But it's so crazy with individuals like yourself and myself. We live in our heads, right? And the reason, like,
Wow. Thank you for
there's a
saying
lot
that.
of times people that are saying, like, this person, like, how do you not let this get you down? Or how do you keep going? How do you stay so strong?
Wow.
And the thing is that the physical is second nature to me, and the spiritual is for I operate here. We're also air signs, so give us grace. I
Yeah.
operate here and it's hard. I
Yeah.
mean, so when something physically stops me, it's
Mhm.
like a shock to me. It's like I
Yeah.
am human. I'm just so like, what? Like
Yes.
stress?
Yeah.
I don't deal with stress. It doesn't hold me back. I'm bigger than it all. But it's
Yeah.
like when you get those moments and some of
Wow.
the things
Yeah.
that they were talking to me about were like, we're gonna test you for this, this, and this. And while I was so grateful that none of those tests came back positive, the second of a millisecond of a thought that, do you have cancer? Do you have some type of issue with your body, that illness? Like, it was just kind of like the fear for a second, right?
Mhm.
And this is no one coming back to me with any bad news. This is just the implication that this could cause what's happening to you. And so we take that to another level with
Yeah.
you actually being told
Yeah.
this is what's going on with you.
Mhm.
And then not only being told that, I'm sorry, not only being told that once, but saying
Mhm.
that you're better and now this is going on with you. Oh,
Yeah.
we fixed that, but this is a problem. And this is going to cause you to do this. And this is going to, I'm saying, just hearing that so many times, like you said, feeling defeated, but also the
Yeah.
fear.
It's so interesting you said that, because since you said fear, I latched onto that. But I'll say this too: part of knowing oneself, and
Yeah.
also
Know thyself.
uh, acquiescing to oneself to know who you are, because we always think, and not trying to become psychological in a way about the id, the ego, everything else, but we really have to think about that, because we tend to think a lot of times in our mind, I'm this person and I know I can handle this and I can do this and this is what it is. But sometimes it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay if you can't do it. And I had to even realize that about myself, because I
Yeah.
said, I know them strong individual, and I know all of these things that society and expectations that are placed on me as to how I'm supposed to feel as a black man, but also black women, the
Yeah.
stuff that's placed on you guys.
Yeah.
And we have to really, you would always tell me sometimes, Miss Harmony, give grace. Give grace.
Shay.
Yeah, and I'm saying we really have to do that. and trying to understand ourselves, each
Mhm.
other, everybody else. To say,
Yeah.
let us step back and look at that. And I think that's a huge part that got me through, what I went through. Like I said, humor, of course, because I have
Yeah.
the worst dark kind of humor in a way, but it gets me through things
Yeah.
because it gets me through life because I
Yeah.
know I'm going through this. And I'm sorry, I have the mind of a Gemini, so I compartmentalize and I
I'm
go all over the
following.
place
Yes.
sometimes. But you made me think about something too because I know my humor is it can be very dark, but it's my humor and everybody who knows me knows it's kind of cathartic for me and it helps me deal with stuff because being a musician, playing trumpet, piano, uh, the whole thing in my life about losing my eye, and I say, yeah, I'm one eye away from being, a blind player, playing out there,
Oh
when
my
you guys
goodness.
will see me somewhere, and I'm like, oh my God, that's so horrible. And I joke about it, and at the same time, you think about and not making light of anybody who's in that situation. But I also think about that. I'm a point away from that. So if that
Wow.
was to happen, how would I deal with that? I'm
Wow.
blessed. I'm blessed
I never
because
even would have considered that perspective, but you're right. If you have one eye gone, you have one eye left. Oh my God.
well, I said if something was to happen, so what's the next step? How do I get? We don't think about that sometimes. We don't think about the fact that our blessings. And I know people a lot of times say, it could always be worse.
And that's a
Yes,
great perspective because like
absolutely. It
it's
can
easy to
always
get
be
caught up on
worse.
the one that's gone, but what about the one that's there? And that's just like how do you that takes so much strength and focus to be able to stay in a place like that. And there's so many of us
Yeah,
where it's just like, I mean, and I mean on all levels. Now, right now, we're talking physically about your eye and your sight, but there are people who have lost a spouse or lost children, a child, and they have other children, or people that have lost a job or a career. And it's kind of
mhm,
like, okay, that's not there. How is that going to strengthen you? Because your other eye is strengthened. That
yeah.
you have the other one, and then how does that strengthen you? And then how do you cherish and maximize what you have? And that just takes so much. I think that takes so much strength and focus. And I think that's a really, really beautiful point.
For
I
those
think,
people out there, Harmony, and who are going through that, and I will tell you, I learned this, and I learned this from my fiance because I had to learn. And since you're talking about grief, and we treat grief, and I realize, we were talking and talking to my family, her family. We
yeah.
treat grief almost as it's an illness, as it's something you have to get over.
Yeah.
And people will have to get over that or deal with that in their own time. They have to
Wow,
find their own way.
so true.
And, our thing is it's okay. It's okay to not feel okay.
Yeah.
And because no one, unless you absolutely went through that yourself, I realize, I really can't even empathize,
Yeah.
in the right way with someone who
Hmm.
have went through certain things. And I admire those people, but yes, we talk about the other part too, because it gets stupid and ridiculous. But and not putting this in a bad light, but like I said, things could always be worse. So I always try to put the perspective on the things.
Yeah.
What do we know? What are we grateful for?
That's shame.
What do we have? Because we all know in this life, life is not infinite. We have a very difficult time dealing with that, and that's fine. That's
Yeah.
humanistic once again, the nature
It
of it,
is. It is.
because no, none of us are going to live forever, and none of us knows what the next day will bring us.
Don't know you don't will bring.
Yeah,
But
and it's hard when you think about it
it's
because
hard, but you can secure your spirit. That's the thing. It's just like if you have security within self, and you said it so wonderfully just a couple of minutes ago, and our ancestors left that for us as well on the
yes,
pyramid. Know thyself.
yeah,
Having knowledge of self mean it, and that implies in itself. I don't have to know tomorrow. I don't have to know
yeah,
next year. I
yeah,
don't even have to always know you,
hmm,
what you're thinking I'm going to do. I just have to know myself, and already I've thrived in the future.
yeah,
Already I've
yeah,
combated challenges. Already I've survived
hmm,
my darkest days because I know what I'm capable of and what I'm not, and I know what I need. But a
yeah,
lot of times, like you said, we don't. So we'll listen to others who will say, get over your grief. Deal with when you know yourself, you know it's no getting over, it's growing through. I'm not getting over anything. I'm growing through it. I'm not a bridge. I am a
yeah,
human being and I am a spirit. So I
yeah,
will be growing through this.
yeah.
Can you tell us, Mr. Coleman, about one of your mountain moments, a big, beautiful moment for you of like, I have arrived. I am who I want to be. I am proud and loving myself. Can you share a moment with us like that?
There are so many moments. A big moment for me. Uh, and I'll say this: I'm on your show. You moving forward. On your journey. I was
Oh,
so happy about that, and that made me feel so good because I felt like I may have had a little part, but she was already there. But
aw,
at the same time, I was just happy because of it. I think anytime I see somebody moving forward, a big thing for me right now, and I'm really learning to love so much my
wow.
family.
Yes.
I'm serious. My family, yeah, the people around me. I'm just, wow, it's everything.
Yeah.
It goes beyond for anyone that have it, embrace it.
Embrace.
Embrace it and love it because I shouldn't say it's rare, but I know for some people out there because I have some friends who tell me it's rare.
Yes.
And I had some friends who I was telling, well, have you thought about this? Because they have some fractured relationships.
That's, oh
And to
my
be
God.
honest,
That when you
I
said I was thinking for some people, it's rare. And even if it's not rare, it's fragile. It's so fragile.
I
And
have some fractured relationships, and I know there because there's a difference in the way that we may look at things or look at life,
yeah,
and I'm coming. Even we're all on a journey,
yeah,
so I'm saying I'm on a journey with this.
yeah,
And I'm on a journey and trying to understand because I've heard some things where I was like, well, that's not my value, but if that's your value, I'm trying to learn how to understand you and just trying to understand you, as a person. My whole thing now, I have a relative, talking to them if we got into a discussion about certain things, to be honest, not to necessarily say it would be contentious, but it's a difference in opinion. So my
yeah,
whole thing with them now is I just love you. I
yeah.
just love you and I'm just checking on you. That's all. We ain't
Mr.
gotta go there.
Coleman, oh my gosh, you are my spirit animal. One of my favorite sayings is that I did not come, and as a in the community, as a community
Mhm.
advocate, I do a great deal of education and healing type of work. But my favorite saying, and how I believe we are successful even when you came in and the changes you made, was that it says, I did not come to teach you. I came to love you, and love will teach you.
There you go.
I don't even know who the
Yeah.
author of that is. That's like anonymous.
Yeah.
But when I tell you, it was my style. It was my style of connection. It's my style of teaching. It's my
That's
anything
you all the way.
to do the work. It's like I don't have
It
to
is.
figure it out. We don't always
Mhm.
have to get it. All I have to do is connect to you,
There
and
you go.
it will find its way. It will find its way. the
Yeah.
information, the inspiration, the words, the resolve, it all will find its way if we create a bridge. That's how I feel. And I just like that is so beautiful that you said that.
That's all you have to do. Let everything else go because you can have your opinion. That's not me. That's not how I would approach things. But I just want to let you know I love you.
Yes. I
I
want you
appreciate you. I care about you. And that says everything
it changed
because yeah, and when you put
it
the
changed.
person there, it's the same with them. And like you said, harmony, you create that bridge with them. And that's all you can leave it at sometimes.
That's
So
it. That's
yeah,
it. I'm here. It's all love. I say it all the time. It's all love. I do not hate you. I do not want wish you harm.
yeah,
I and if ever you come to me for love, you will find it. Period.
there you
Now,
go.
if you need a
Yeah.
high five on some crazy, I might not give you a high five
There
on some
you
craziness.
go.
If you
Yeah.
need a ride to Timbuktu, or if you borrow money for the 300th time, that might not work.
Uh,
If you come for some love, I got you. In a prayer, you don't
yeah,
ever have to worry about not getting that from me. So yes, I agree. What
absolutely.
about some missed moments, Mr. Coleman? When you think about hindsight being 2020, being able
Mhm.
to look over your experiences from a child until now, and your healing and your lapses and everything. Like, and you're saying your fiance now? I didn't even know.
Yeah. Yeah, you didn't know
Upgrade.
because yeah, we haven't spoken about that, but we'll get there.
Congratulations. I hope they did something really big for you at
Thank
work
you.
with that. But
Uh-huh.
missed moments, hindsight 2020. What do you think? What is a moment you missed?
The moments I missed.
Or just a moment that you feel like you missed. Looking back, I would have wanted to do this. Or
You
looking
know
back,
what I miss, and I'm trying to get back to, and I think all of us need to do this because sometimes we are taking other things. I don't always think. I think in life, once again, going the humanistic path, and establish we're creatures of habit to some degree, and they make
mhm,
us feel comfortable. But my son always told me do something different, and I always say that to people. And that was a big thing in my life
yeah,
because I've done a lot of things that were outside of the norm.
yeah,
Especially considering the fact that, uh, as you know, I'm a diver. Yeah, black people
yeah.
don't dive. We don't go.
Definitely diver.
I
Definitely
would do that.
show me
I,
your diver's member card. I said, no,
yeah,
we're not
but
going to the no, we're not going to the bottom of the
but I'm
sea.
saying that's
God.
it, and I'm saying to people, live life. Life is to be lived. It's to be enjoyed. It's to be experienced.
It is to be experienced. And that's one thing I think is so awesome about you. You are such an advocate for life. And there's many people who love their life, but you are amongst the population of individuals who have to fight for their lives. Meaning, like, there's some of us take for granted just getting up, going about our business. We don't take
Yeah, it's
vacation.
more than that.
We're not, our body isn't attacking us. We just going about our day. But
Yeah,
there are a great deal of individuals that are sick. What is defined as sick, right?
yeah.
And for someone like yourself to advocate for life, and you have to fight for it so hard, but you advocate it with such ease. Just live it, just love it, just be great. It's awesome.
Well, I'm gonna tell you for anybody out there too, Harmony. I did not grow up rich. My parents weren't even middle class. I came from my father decided to not be there. I came from a single parent home. My mother.
Yes,
She encouraged us. She pushed us. At the time, she knew like if you got an education, if you wanted to do a business, she pushed that and advocated that.
yeah.
And it was five of us, and all five of her children did that. But the biggest thing she pushed in us too, once again, going back to what I said in the beginning, all for one and one
Oh,
for all.
one for all.
And she pushed that into all of us. So we are very tight. We support each other.
Yeah.
I have very and that only extended out. because not just my family, but it extends out to pretty much anybody we meet. So it's having that village, it's having that people around you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, once again, I did not grow up rich. I did not grow up. I wanted to do this, but I'm seeing life is, it's beautiful.
It's
It's
beautiful.
something, yeah, we have to pursue. If there are things that are out there, something you feel, just give it. I know, and I talk to people sometimes, and they say, "Oh, it's hard for me. It's this, it's that," and I say, "You know what? I know."
Yeah.
But I also say at the same time, try just a little bit.
If there's
You know,
something to complain about, there's something to give praise about. And
that's
where
right.
we want to put you. And that's always
There
there.
you go.
Things like
There
where
you go.
put your energy. And Diana Ross said that recently, and well, she didn't say it recently, but it was a clip I saw recently on Instagram where she
Mhm.
was saying every time she produces a positive thought, she produces a negative thought. But
Mm.
what comes?
Wow, that's
She
deep.
was saying they come together. She was like, but what becomes her reality is what she feeds and
Mm.
puts her energy towards the positive thought.
Yeah,
And my thing is like that is so true.
yeah.
You
That,
can
no,
say
that is. But that's
just
what
like
we
you can
always
say
push
it's
for.
so cold out here, you can say
Yeah,
I have a coat. And
yeah.
just like you can say I'm so tired, you can say thank you, creator, I have a bed. You can there where balance and look at what is working for you. Gratitude. Londrell, one of my favorite artists, he says gratitude is the attitude that gets you through the day.
You are what you think.
There you are.
You are what you think.
Ashe. Yes.
And, if it's negative thought, whoever is out there, we got to work with you. That's why you're listening to this podcast. Let's
And
get
so you
you,
listening to
let's get you to that
so
positive thought.
in saying we are what we think, Mr. Coleman, would you be able to share with us a mirror moment, which is like a vital self conversation? A vital conversation. Would you be able to share an example of a really vital conversation you had to have with yourself?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I told you about my grandmother, but around 17, 18, at that time my grandfather was dying, and my grandfather was a very integral person in my life
Yeah.
because of what went on during my childhood with me losing my eye and going through stuff, teasing with other kids, and them not understanding. He was just always a strong person, but he was transitioning at that point. And one of the last things he did, he said, "I'm giving you this money." Him and my grandmother, and said, "I want you to get your school ring. I want you to do everything you want to do."
Wow.
That we spoke about, and it wasn't necessarily what he wanted me to do, more so than I told him what I wanted to do. So at that age, I just said, you have to come to a point and you just say, you know what, um, it. I had to realize my life is my, you know,
Wow.
and you may have heard this before. There's a poem out there called Invictus.
Hmm.
You're the master of your destiny and the master of your soul.
Wow.
And
That.
that was very vital to me in saying, and I will say this once again, it's not easy because even when I was growing up, where I was growing up, I had a lot of childhood friends who passed away. Passed away. Either they were involved in stuff they shouldn't have been in, they were murdered, they were jailed, the whole thing. But I'm saying that pushed me further to say,
Yeah.
all of these things that are going around me that are negative, I have to make something positive of it. And
Wow.
it was confirmation to me because I had people who at that time they were approaching me. I would have drug dealers I knew in the neighborhood who would say, "I better not see you out here doing this," or anything else. They ain't say it in that way, but
Right.
yeah, they said it in the other ways. But they said, "If I see you out here, I'm gonna kick your
Hmm.
butt."
Wow.
And it just gave something to me at that point, and it just gave something to me. Telling people, once you psych your mind up to be positive, you it is a struggle. It's not to say you still don't have negative thoughts, but you
Yeah,
know you always have to move forward. You
yeah,
always know that you're going to move towards this. I'm not a superhuman. You are not a superhuman. We're human. So
yeah.
we all experience the same things. We all like experience the same thoughts. But the whole struggle is us talking ourselves through stuff, to stay positive, to know that this too will pass.
This
You
too
know,
shall.
that whole thing. That's what we're all struggling for. All of us.
Yeah.
All of us.
And understanding that, being empathetic with that, being conscious and aware of that is
Yeah.
what makes life bearable. It makes life bearable. It makes it doable. It brings the flow. We're all praying for the flow and this ease,
Mhm.
this rising of self. And at
Yeah.
the end of the day, it's our ability to provide that for one another that makes that happen. You know,
Thank
it's
you.
our ability. Yeah,
Which is the most important thing, because the next part of that, you have to surround yourself with people
that's it.
like that. You
You
have to surround yourself. People understand. I'm going through this too. I'm having difficulties too. I'm going through life, but that's a huge part of it as well. Surround yourself,
yes.
with people who understand and know, and they're pushing forward as well. That was a big part of it as well.
And just being able to let you, like you said earlier, I love you. I'm here for you. You're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Like
Hmm.
it sounds like so cliche, but people aren't hearing them when they're going through at their darkest time. People aren't hearing them as much as they need or as regularly it's necessary for survival.
Yeah.
And so when you do just hear, I love you, you
Yeah.
can go all day. I mean, if you might have some little ones around, because my 4-year-old, she's always like, Mommy, I love you, which is such a blessing. But your peers,
Sweet.
someone else that understands life the way you understand it. I know she loves me. I provide a life for her. But someone who I don't do anything for other than just be myself that says you're valuable, these things change how I survive. It's not just an
Yeah.
affirmation. It's
Yes.
not just kind words to me. This literally
Hmm.
dictates how I get from one obstacle to the next and
Yeah.
also how I grow. And I
Yeah.
can remember at work you begin to implement report cards, right?
Hmm.
So for a geek like me who was in school, it was like report cards again. But it was, I can remember crying one day off of one of your report cards because not only would you show us all of our numbers, because you would show us these are the stats that you beat, that you killing the game, and da, 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 but you would also say have a summary of your own thoughts.
Harmony.
I,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
you say I see you pushing
Harmony.
through, and I
You
see.
guys are human. So first of all, you want to know how you're doing. And I
But
want you to know how you're doing.
it's
It,
not, but it makes such a difference for someone, especially like you said, you have no idea all that we have coworkers who have children that are autistic. We have other sick coworkers.
yeah.
We have
Yeah.
coworkers
Yeah.
losing parents and
Yeah.
loved ones, students in school and juggling work in school. I mean, it was just all everyone, like you said, everyone is is in this same life together.
Well, I
But
always wanted you guys to know how valuable
and I'm
you
saying
guys are
that
to me.
it changes things. You don't know who's on their last leg. You don't know who was like you used the word earlier, defeated by that last phone call, by that last argument, by that last pattern, or what have you, that last diagnosis, that last situation. You don't know what kind of brought you to the breaking, hanging on by a thread. I've had nights where I'm just like, I'm hanging on by a thread. I don't know how
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it to tomorrow.
Yeah.
But it
Hmm.
is the strength, beauty, and resilience within yourself that you share openly to others that helps us all continue to grow. It is people work. It is God's work. It is the work of light and right. And that's why I wanted to have you on the show today, Mr. Coleman. You exemplify the work of light and right. I am so grateful. You will forever be a part of my growth and my understanding and proof. Because every now and again, the Creator brings someone in my life that shows me, don't you give up. I am right here. I am always, but you stay that course.
Absolutely.
You be that person because I am here. And beautiful people self come through
But
to
you know what, Harmony? That's likewise because that's been you for me. Because I know everything I was going through and what I was trying to do. I wanted to show you guys how I
yeah,
felt about you, but
yeah,
still,
you too.
you
It was
need that back as well because you
you
can't
did.
sustain it if you're not,
That's,
if you
yeah,
can't sustain it if you're not getting people who are receptive to it. Being honest, yeah.
yes.
So yeah.
Yes, it was beautiful. And again, your numbers started changing overnight, and people were like, "How is he getting these numbers to change?" And how we were going up and meeting our quotas and things like that. But it was really it was love. It,
Yeah,
you
and
were being
that's what I'm
you were
saying.
being
It's
loved.
respecting you guys as who you are.
Yeah,
You're
being loved.
people. You're humans. You're not just numbers. You're not just there for the job and what they want.
Yeah,
These are people, and I know we knew.
yeah,
I always knew I could never do it without my people.
that's
My
you.
people were more important than anything else anybody ever said to
Wow.
me.
See, I
Yeah.
just love life like that. I love life like that, where your family is more important than paying the bills. Your friends are more important than what you're wearing or what you're driving. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm saying that you don't forget the spirit of people in your life and what it means.
Mm,
I'm
that's
so very grateful for you. I'm so blessed to have you on my show today. Thank you so much for joining me,
thank
Mr. Coleman,
you.
in your light. I know many people are going to be all of your family, all of our old coworkers, and some of your current coworkers, all of our coworkers coming to
Thank
see
you.
what we're talking about. Just keep in
Mhm.
mind that when we go live together instead of one at a time, it won't premiere until like about 24 hours, right? So it'll be
That's okay, but
just
that's
because in
beautiful.
case people are looking for it, I want people to know. And
Yeah,
sometimes people do get on and they're like, they'll see my advertisement to tune in. The only way you can watch this show in real time is to watch it live. Once
yeah,
it's not live anymore, it takes 24 hours to upload when we're doing the go live together. So
yeah.
just so everyone knows, anybody that wants to catch Mr. Coleman, and thank you so much for tuning in and support him. I know he has a big base of family and friends. Um, he is awesome, and I'm sure you all are too. When you're just gonna be having to tune in on the next day, on Sun tomorrow. But I'm so grateful for having you. How can so we know that you're a musician, you're getting your music on. How can people support you, Mr. Coleman? Where can we see you? Where can we find you?
You know what? And I will say this: I'm with everything that was going on medically, I'm starting to build myself back up again and
Okay.
starting to get out there again. So
Okay.
I have friends, and yeah,
Well, you got some YouTube stuff, don't you? Don't you have some YouTube?
yeah, it's some stuff that's out there, but it is. I'm getting there. I'm getting there, and it'll be a while. It's about putting focus on myself right now.
I
Yeah,
understand.
yeah, just getting
I,
where I should be health wise and
got
everything
you.
else. But I love the community. I love my people. I love the support. It's been everything to me. Mhm.
Awesome. Thank you for
And
that.
especially you,
Thank
Miss.
you all so much for joining in and giving support. And
Yeah,
anyone, again, that's out there dealing with some of the things that Mr. Coleman had to fight and battle through, still are, please stay encouraged. Please stay in light. Please stay in
yeah,
love. Thank
yes,
you again. Please also remember that we are having a Moment of Harmony is hosting a prayer and purge at the beginning of the year. It is viewers invite only. It is free and it is in person. So definitely DM me for a space in the place. And also join me next week for another phenomenal
yeah,
another phenomenal guest. Get my words together. Another phenomenal guest as we continue to move to our 100th moment and we continue to magnify moments. Those that have been doing our look back, they've been looking back. We've been doing our go back session leading up until this mini series. We took a little break from it. We're going to be going back into that as soon as our 100th celebration has concluded. But up until then, we'll still be in this mini series of magnifying our moments. I cannot wait to see you next week with another extraordinary guest, making the most out of their moments, leading up to 100 Moments of Harmony. I am so very grateful for you all. You have a great week. Take really good care of yourself and be sure to take good care of someone else. Thank you so much, Mr. Coleman. It is all love all the
Thank
time.
you, Miss Harmony.
Yes, thank you.